Welcome back. Welcome to Zenith Tutorial Center. This our second class. We'll be dealing with the definition of terms, the types of report format, how do you do your cover page, and the order. So the definition of terms is very important because you'll be meeting it in your various case studies, So you need to know when you are seeing this English, you know how to deal with it. So let's go straight to the point. So if you have not get the material we are using, make sure you get it on the seller on my account. So it's just 1,580. Then the solution to Pathfinder is 1,600. So make sure you get it so that you can, at your own lecture time, you can go through. So now we are moving. So we are done with the introduction of the report, the first video. So this is the second video, the class. So on the second video, we are starting by the definition of terms. So that is where we are starting from, definition of terms. Now, you'll be meeting so many times, even it's going to be as if they are not feasible, but they are there in your case study. So one of the terms you need to understand is what we call issues. Issues, these are perimeters that we are facing to help us arriving at a position concerning an overall requirement. Requirements and issues are related. It's because there is an issue, that's why we have requirement. If there is no issue in the case study, there will nothing like requirement. But because the examiner know that, oh, this business scenario has a lot of issues. Maybe they are making a lot of laws. There's a lot of cost of sales. There's a lot of personnel costs. They are having a lot of borrowing. All this what I'm saying, they are issues. Or management, they are mismanaging the operation. All this one, they are issues. So they don't have a standardized operating system, SOP. So all this one, they are issues. So you need to understand it. So because they are issues, examiner will not help you to identify this is issue. No. They will only put it there in different exhibits, expecting students to identify those issues so that they can be able to address it in their reports. So these are the things you are going to be checking. What are the issues in this scenario? Then those issues is what we will provide solution for. That is what we provide what solution for. Then the second one is this option. When there is an issue, in the case study, then what are the options available for us to deal with the issue? Option is when we have a pick amongst the several choices that can serve us better. When there's an issue, you can have a lot of options to solve it. You can have it. That they used to say that there's a several ways that enters market. For example, my companies are having a financial constraint. How can I solve it? I can say they can go by what? By equity, by getting more debt, or by getting the foreign investor or grants from the government. So these are options available. But any options that you must use must always in line with the requirement given to you. So it's not that because you just know all these things, based on what you know in SFL, you just want to drop everything. No, you must be in line of what the examiner requires. You must be in line with what the examiner requires. But there are a lot of windows that are usually available in that requirement that you can go by. For example, you know that if the examiner is asking you to calculate MPV, there are some MPV that before you get to that level of MPV, you need to calculate contribution. So there are a lot of figures that you need to consider. So all through that, they are options. You can tell the examiner that they can go through the route of contribution, meaning that if it shows a positive contribution, they can go ahead with the project. So that is another, even though you have not get to the level of what MPV. So these are options. These are what? These are options. So you now pick the best. You can't choose all the options because of time. So you choose the best option that will stop that requirement. So then another thing is that professional credibility. So I explained little into this of this professional credibility in our first video. So you make sure you watch it as well. So this is the act of what? Questioning mind, inquisitive mind, having a doubt about the integrity and accuracy of information provided. You are doubting that information given to you. What is the source of this information? What is the source of data? How did they arrive at this revenue? They didn't give you notes to the account. They didn't give you cash flow analysis. They didn't give you a lot of information. You are asking yourself, I didn't have it, I didn't have it, I didn't have it. So that is what we call professional schedule. You are doubting the integrity. Is it not that they just pick up the figure and put out there? So you are doubting it. Then how do you now treat those things? Is by you responding back in a professional way. In a professional way. So in your structure of report, there's a place you write your professional skepticism. So that means you show your what inquisitive mind. So you show your inquisitive mind on that particular case given to you. So the reason is because if they give, for example, if two of you are writing a report for ABC Limited, and they provide a details report to Mr. A, and you, Mr. B, they give you a limited information. So do you know that Mr. A is going to have a lot, is going to have a good report better than you that has a limited report. So that your client will now be looking at you and see, oh, you don't know what you are doing. You are not even qualified. You didn't give a good report on that. It's not that you don't qualify. It's not that you are not good, but it's because you are having a limited access to that what information. But the other man is having what? A good detailed information. That's why he was able to come out with what? Best report. So that is why, that one is, so the professional credibility is going to help you telling the exam, communicating to the examiner that, oh, I should have write better, but I am being limited up to this information. That is all what professional credibility. So you raise it, a professional credibility statement there in your report. Then analysis. This is the term, this is the process if working with the data providers to help you make information you can input in your report. It can be form of calculation, collection, and gathering of data. So, you are going to do calculation, collecting data, gather a lot of information you are able to. So, we call it analysis. All these analysis will start back to what? To your appendix. So you do a lot of calculation in your appendix. So all this one, you bring the end result to what? To your report. You bring the head results to your report. Maybe, for example, you get 20%, you get 30%, you get NPV, positive NPV. All these end results is what you are bringing into your report, and then you write report on it. That's all this, you are through the what? You are able to use all this through your analysis. Then the wider context. This is positive or negative things that affect the industry in general. So when you're talking about the wider context, it could be positive, it could be negative, things that affect the industry in general. I have explained in the first video that when you have for example, cement industry, you have Dangote, Bua, Lafarge, and so on and so forth. All of them, common thing is happening to them. If they make cloth, all of them make cloth. If they make paint, all of them make bricks. You understand? So these are what the wider context, things that are common to all of them. It could not be negative, it could not be positive. So, but for when it's not common to all of them, it's not common to all of them. So it's not more a wider context. Do you understand? Then how do you check this? Or how do you able to come about your wider content in your report? That's how we are going to also teach you. But let me just give you a light on how we do that. Now, the reason why they usually give industry information and the background of that, how the companies become an assistant in the country. So that is one of the reasons why they will give you a particular exhibit that will talk about the industry, about that particular industry. They will have tell you how the industry has been making its way for many years. There has been an assistance, how they have been struggling, how their strengths, their weakness, a lot of things. They can use SWOT analysis to analyze all those things. They will give it to you. So then, for you to now check, what about this company I'm dealing with? What is affecting them? Does it really back to what? Does it really affecting others? So you now go back to the financial statement of that company. You go back, you check what has happened based on what you read about the industry. What happened? Do you see any interrelationship? Did they connect together? When, for example, they are saying that, oh, this industry has been struggling for many years, all this, and you go back to the financial statement of that particular company, you see that the company has been making a lot of revenue over the years. So meaning that it has worked against the information provided for you. So that is not a wider context. So when you're talking about wider context, it must when they say that company has been making revenue over the years. So when you go back to that financial statement of the company giving to you, you will see what they are saying there. You will see, so that you will be able to bring out the wider context statement. Then another one is the evaluation. This is to weight the events surrounding the causes and projecting into the effect it can cause in the future strategy. This usually is done by identifying internal causes of particular issues and then try to relate it with the external factor causes. Now, this evaluation, most of the questions usually come through evaluation. That's why I'm able to explain detail what evaluation, when the examiner say evaluation. So this means that they want you to do a detailed analysis. They want you to do a detailed explanation with the solution and recommendation. So that is what they want you to do for them. It could be through the appraiser. Through the project appraiser, you are going to appraise the project, then comments for them. So these are the things you do. So majorly, this one usually comes from the angle of question C, question that they usually do for many years. So you just see there, they say evaluate this project or do that. They say evaluate it. So you now look at what are the information available for you to evaluate it. At times it could be a project. At times it could be that the company wants to invest into new product. So it could be that the company wants to do the merger and acquisition. It now depends how the requirements come. So, but we are going to look at different scenarios so that we deal with how if compressor comes from the angle of evaluation. Then judgment. This is your opinions on how to improve your performance. It can also be your decision on what investment options to be pursued. So you just show your opinions on the improvement of performance of that company, then how could the company go? So what are the options for the company to perform? That is your judgment. Then conclusion. This is provide answers to your requirement. Your conclusion will provide a short answer to your requirement. That, I conclude that the profit of the company is making profit. The cost of sales of the company is increasing over the year. The project is viable. So all these ones, they are just a conclusion. They are conclusion. So all other aspects of your report before conclusion, those details and dirty work. Why conclusion is the final summary of what you have been doing. So it's the final summary of what you have been doing. Do not forget this your report. You are going to have executive summary. Then your executive summary also is going to contain conclusion and recommendation. And also your main report also contains your what? Conclusion and recommendation. But I will tell you how you do your executive summary, conclusion and recommendation. How we also do the main body of your conclusion and recommendation. So a logical way you are going to do it. I will also show you in the course of our class. So, so it might not be today actually, but when we get there, I will show you. Just keep watching the video one upon a time. So the maximum video I'll be doing per video is that it's going to be 30 minutes. That is the less 30 minutes. It's going to be less 30 minutes or 30 minutes or less than 30 minutes, so that you can be able to watch. So I don't want it to be too lengthy. Then another one is what? Recommendation. This is the practical. This is the practical thing that can be done improving performance. That can be done improving performance or to implement a particular option. To implement a particular option. So that is recommended. At the end of everything, you need to what? Give advice to your client or your boss so that a way out to the solution. So that is all about your recommendation. The professional ethics. These are the ethical practices that help to guarantee external auditor independence. They include integrity, confidentiality, technical competence, objectivity, and professional behavior. So they want is saying if you stand as what? As an external auditor, if the examiner says you are an external auditor, so these are how you deal with that angle. So you must know that integrity, confidentiality, technical competence, and objectivity are very important to you as a code of conduct that guides that profession. Then professionalism, the risk profile of the work requested, the field, and whether it is sufficient to compensate for high risk, availability of staff, managing client expectations, logistical and logistical matters such as timing, legal and regulatory matters such as money laundering and so on and so forth. So that is that. So let's quickly move on to the type of report. Now we have two types of report, external report and internal report. So I will be showing you the exact how you are, if the examiner is saying write internal report, how it should be. If the examiner is saying write external report, how it should be. So internal report. Internal report. This is the report. This is the report that the purpose is to be used internally, and it will not go outside the organization. So it's to be used internally, it will not go out of the organization. So that this report is written by the assistant finance manager to chief financial officer. So when the report is written by the assistant financial manager to the chief financial manager officer, or report written by the CEO to CFO to CEO, all within the organization. So now the sample of this one is this. You see this one is So it's usually be in form of memo. Technology company. So the shareholder of the Technology PLC. Then from where? Finance department. So it's within. So finance on the financial positions. So reports. That means the subject of the report on the financial positions and the business analysis using value chain model. So we are going to also choose this particular diet. So you see how this diet look like in the report. The report look like. So the dates, so this is what must feature in your cover page under your internal report. Your cover page under your internal report. So you make sure you write to report, that is subject. Then date. Then this one is just talking about the that is the talking about the disclaimer. So, but this one, you see, I just put the report is meant for internal use only. But for internal reports, it's not necessary that you should put disclaimer. That's the difference between internal and external. But for external report, it's important for you to put disclaimer. Very, very important. Very, very important. So, but you might decide not to put it in your internal report, but for external is very important. Then the external report, this is the vice versa of internal report. Is the report written by the firm to the client, which must present with the letterhead of the writer. So you must present as what letterhead of the writer. So these are the writer's firm. So it's like you are writing to your client, Adewale Okochukwu, Ghana and Co. Chartered Accountant. That's the company you are working for. So all of you are now reporting to a client. That is external. So you are writing to the board of directors of Spicy Restaurant Limited. So who? Or by who? That is Adewale Okochukwu, Ghana. So this is by you, Adewale. So that's the company you work for. So your company is reporting to your client. That is the client is what restaurant, Spicy Restaurant. So that is internal. So you have something like letterhead of your own firm, which is Adewale Okochukwu, Ghana and Co. Then subject analysis. So the subject will be taken from where? From the requirements given to you. So just make sure to be more concise and precise. the analysis of financial performance of spicy restaurants, and evaluation of the term of contract from Lagos Hospital Limited. Then the date. So this date determine what they are giving to you. You need to look at the date at which your boss sent you mail, so that will determine this type of date. So when we get to the practical aspect, I will tell you how you will take your date. Then this one, this is a disclaimer. You see now, I write a lot of it because it's very important here. This external is very important. This report is prepared for the board of directors of Spicy Restaurants Limited, and it is intended for their use only. We shall not accept any liability arise from third parties who rely on the content of this report without due authorization. So that is that. The disclaimer. It's very important in external report. So these are the examples of internal and external cover page. So another thing that you need from internal and external is that the language you use must be formal. Must be what? Must be formal. Must be formal. Must be formal. Very important. Then the type of report format. So which format will I use in writing my report? Some students usually ask. Some people usually have. So we have the two type of format, but both are what are relevant in your report. But you must focus on one when you want to write your report. So we have what we call letter format and schematic format. Now, how does the letter format look like? This is at times called block format. This is a type of format that does not require numbering tasks done, but the space are shown through paragraphs. So example of it is that I want to start my report. I start by this introduction, right? I write a catalog of what that's the introduction. After that, I start immediately with the next paragraph, next line. That is, revert to the mail receipt on October 6, 2021, where we were required to carry out analysis of financial statements for the past 4 years, 2018 to 2021, of Best Price Fashions Limited, using the key financial indicators provided and benchmark state in the equivalent figure from the three of the company major competitors. Also, you see that my another paragraph is I just use also, so I didn't put any other thing. I don't put any numbers. I just use by paragraph. Also to comment on the IS2s of the management account together with the evaluation of the inventory of zealous allowance in the 2020 financial statement. So I want to start another subheading entirely. What did I do? I use underline. I just put financial analysis. You understand? I didn't put any number. Now, see the difference between letter format and the schematic. Now, this is the schematic. This schematic now, you see, that this is a format that uses number or numbers when writing reports. E.g., now you see my introduction up here. I didn't put any number. But here, I put 1.0. 1.0. Then when I want to start another line, I put 1.1. The other one. It means that this one is relating to 1.0, right? So I now say, so my reverse to the mail receipt, so I put 1.1. Then when I start in another another paragraph also, I put it to be what? 1.2. So that is the difference. So any of these two are relevant. You must choose one. Either you are picking schematic format or you are picking what? Letter format. You must choose it. So this one is 1.2. So when you want to start another subheading, you now pick it to be around figure. That is 2.0 financial analysis. You will see that when we want to do financial analysis in letter format, I just underline it. So I just underline it here. But yeah, what did I do? I put number. I put 2.0. So note that any of the formats is acceptable by the examiner. Any of the formats is acceptable by the examiner. So that is that on that particular one. That is that version. So our next class will now be examiner expectation at a professional level. So what are the examiner expecting at the professional level? So what are they even expecting from you as a case study student? So that's what we are going to do in our next class. So please, if you have not subscribed, Make sure you subscribe to Senate Tutorial Center and turn on your notification so that you can receive the notification. You can be notified when you have the new videos, when we upload the new video. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you.